Now let's take a look at graphing a piecewise function. These are kind of intimidating to many people, but I don't think that they need to be. So here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to recommend that you always take a look at the very first pathway and write it separately. If I take that yellow pathway and I turn it into, instead of f of x, if I make it just a y equals x squared, then I'm just going to take a look at what that graph looks like. We've already graphed the basic picture, so let me go ahead and put kind of just a light sketch of what that graph looks like. So over 3 up 9, here's my picture. There's the parabola. So now what I'm going to do is this. I have to allow myself only the part of the graph that has x values less than 2, meaning this. I'm only going to allow myself to keep the part of the graph that's smaller than the 2, lined up with 2 on the x-axis, right? The only part I get to keep is anything that's smaller than 2. So that means this, that anything greater than 2 I have to take off. Now when I say 2, I don't mean the height. I mean even with the x-axis. So I'm going to go through here and I'm going to take off everything that's greater than 2, and that's going to leave me this. That's going to leave me this picture, right? There's my picture of the parabola. And you notice here's the 2. There's the 2, and all that's greater than 2 I've taken off. Okay, so that's my yellow, the yellow portion I've just graphed. Now let's take a look at this portion here. Now I'm going to take a look at the bottom pathway, and that's going to be this, 1/2 x plus 4. And that's the same as y is equal to 1/2 x plus 4. And I'm going to graph that line. So here we go. I've got a y-intercept of 4, and I've got up 1 over 2, up 1 over 2, up 1 over 2. Now I'm just going to do a dashed line, or kind of a little dotted line, and I recommend you use pencil when you do these. There's that. Now, what I get to keep, the only part that I get to keep is that part of the graph that's lined up greater than or equal to 2 on the x, greater than or equal to 2 on the x-axis, which means the only part I'm going to keep is this part here, greater than, okay, or equal to. Now that means that I'm going to have a closed-in circle here, or equal to 2. So I don't get to keep that which is small. Whoa, I didn't mean to erase the y-axis there. I don't get to keep that which is smaller. You know, lined all of this stuff. I don't get to keep all that stuff. Okay? So again, let me just emphasize. Here's what I'm keeping of the yellow one. Here's what I'm keeping of the blue one. And that, folks, is my piecewise function. Let's take a look at what the domain and range are. The domain, if I look at all of this, and I can even look right up here, what are they allowing me to put in for x? Well, by golly, they're allowing me everything from negative infinity to infinity. I can also verify that by looking at the picture. And for the range, let's look back up here. What are the values that are actually, if I turned on the y magnet, what values would actually be covered up? Would be everything from 0 to infinity. And that's the range. Okay? Hope this helped. Thanks a lot.